Hey there, Beerfield Fantasy family. It's week 10, it's Saturday night, it's late. I've just finished going over all the news and injuries. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Just a quick couple reminders first. We are at BeerfueledFF on Twitter. If you got any start-sit questions for us, tweet them at us. We will answer them bright and early for you on this YouTube channel, Beerfield Fantasy Football. Please like and subscribe. It'll be about 10:30 in the morning Central Time, about an hour and a half before kickoffs. We'll go over all the inactives, any start-sit questions you got. Just make sure you guys are all ready to go. Win your games in here in Week 10. Let's go ahead and jump right into the news, though. First up, we got Dede Westbrook with his core muscle injury. He had surgery on that. Was it put on IR? They still have not activated him. He's not playing in Week 10. They have, I believe, until next Tuesday to activate him, or he does go on IR for the year. So we should see him back Week 11 or not at all. So keep a real close eye on this. I do like grabbing him here before waivers run, if they do get the news that he's activated, because I do like his upside, especially if you're in any sort of deeper league, like 14, 16 team type league. Moving on to the Bills, Sean McDermott says Kelvin Benjamin is still getting acclimated to the offense. This is definitely something we've predicted. Our rankings currently have Benjamin as a low wide receiver 2 all the way into a full-on flex position play this week. It's expected he probably won't have a lot of routes that he can run. He'll be limited in his scope, his usage. Don't expect a lot of big things out of him this week. You're mainly hoping for a touchdown out of him. Andrew Luck, with his shoulder injury that he's been placed on IR with, is going to Europe for a second opinion, or I think this is actually probably about 15th opinion. If he's going to Europe, it's very likely for stem cell treatment, and that's apparently, I think, the only treatment over there that I'm aware of that they can offer that you won't find generally offered here in the United States. So they may be looking for a non-surgical way to get that shoulder fixed. We'll see if they're able to do anything with that. I'm a little doubtful. I'm worried about Luck's long-term future here. Green Bay Press-Gazette believes DC Dom Capers could be fired after this season. Could be looking at a new defensive coordinator in Green Bay. As a Vikings fan, I hope they don't fire Dom Capers because I think he's been atrocious, and I enjoy seeing them have a terrible defense year in and year out. But I think realistically, he's done. They need to have a team there besides Aaron Rodgers. So if anything happens to him, either his play slips, he gets injured, anything happens, you still have to be able to hold the team together and at least put a competent product out into the field. When Rodgers is hurt, they don't do that anymore. Cleveland Plain Dealer reports the Browns apparently made an offer for Terrell Pryor at the trade deadline. This kind of makes sense. He had a very good year there last year. They're not using him in Washington, and he's on a one-year expiring deal. And the Browns desperately need a wide receiver to come in and take over that number one role until Coleman gets back and be the number two when Coleman is healthy. I don't expect anything to happen in terms of Pryor getting cut this year to end up in Cleveland, but I would not be surprised when he hits free agency after this offseason if he does wind back up in Cleveland in a 1 or 2 year deal. Moving on to the Bengals, who placed running back Jeremy Hill on injured reserve, so we are down to just the Gio and Mixon show. I expect Gio to continue to get his 5 to 8 touches. Mixon will get the rest. Could be 10, could be 20, whatever Marvin Lewis happens to be feeling like that week. The lack of consistency here is very frustrating. It keeps Mixon in the low-end RB2 discussion. He does have some touchdown upsides, gotten in the end zone twice in the last 3 weeks. Does get a lot of pass catches, so he's definitely still startable. It's just really, really ugly. Good news for the Lions. They activated left tackle Taylor Decker. He's a absolutely great left tackle. He played fantastically in his rookie season. Hurt his shoulder in training camp. Did get that surgically repaired, did get activated now. He's going to come back in. He should improve this offensive line immediately. And they did waive Greg Robinson, the former second overall pick. He just wasn't able to make it in the NFL, and they don't need him anymore now that Decker's back. Lastly, for news, ESPN's Chris Mortensen reports Drew Stanton apparently sprained his knee Week 10 against the Seahawks, and he may miss a few weeks, which means it's now time for the Blaine Gabbert Show. I hope you're all excited as I am. This is going to be a blast. I really hate this Cardinals team. David Johnson, please save us. Please save us all. Moving on, let's get into all the injury news. Vikings at Redskins. For the Vikings, offensive tackle Mike Remmers is out. He's had a really, really good year, probably the best one of his career, giving up no pressures. They're going to bring in Rashad Hill as his backup. He is a solid tackle, but not a great one. It is going to be a downgrade of the running game, so Murray, McKinnon probably get a slight ding. Also, their pass rush on the Redskins is relatively good, so it means they may be able to get after Keenan more. On the Redskins side of the ball, they have a few more injuries to worry about. Jamison Crowder is questionable with a hamstring. He is expected to play, though. He did get a full practice on Friday, so he should be suited up and ready to go. Tight end Jordan Reed, on the other hand, is questionable with a hamstring injury. Did not practice Friday after getting limited sessions on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't expect him to go. Vernon Davis is his replacement. You can swap him in and expect a tight end one performance out of Mr. VD. Lastly, all of the Redskins' offensive line is questionable. All of it. So they could have everyone playing, or they could have all backups, this or anything in between. I expect probably 2 or 3 will miss. They had 4 miss on the last week for the Seahawks. They're slowly getting healthier, but they're still really beat up in rough shape. This team is really going to struggle down the stretch until that offensive line gets healthy, which is really tough to do in the middle of an NFL season. Good luck, Redskins. Packers at the Bears. Offensive tackle Brian Bulaga tore his ACL. He's done for the year. That's a massive downgrade to the right tackle position for the Packers. I'm pretty sure he plays right tackle. Don't quote me on that for sure. I know he's one of the two. He plays left or right tackle. But either way, it's a massive downgrade of the offensive line. They have Batikari on the other side. It's just losing one of your either your right or left tackle is a massive downgrade to an offense that's already missing their starting quarterback. So don't expect great things from the Hundley show here on out. On the Bears side of the ball, Deion Sims is questionable with an illness that caused him to miss all practices this week. He's going to be a game-time decision. Tune into the show tomorrow morning, and we will let you know if Sims is active for this game. I think he's probably not going to play if he was sick enough to miss 3 straight practices, but we'll see. It's always possible he's able to suit up here, and we'll keep you guys posted first thing tomorrow morning. Steelers at Colts. Steelers coming to the game basically healthy, so they're missing 1 defensive player. That's it. On to the Colts, though. Wide receiver T.Y. Hilton is questionable with a groin injury. He got limited sessions on Thursday and Friday, though. I think he will suit up. It's a very tough matchup, though, so don't expect a ton. I've got him personally pegged around wide receiver 20 this week, so a low end 2. Probably not going to get another boom week out of him, unfortunately. Chargers at Jaguars. Only injury of note is Marquise Lee. He's questionable with a knee injury. It is reporting he will play tomorrow. And I expect they would have activated D.D. Westbrook if they thought he wasn't going to go. Jets at Buccaneers. Running back Matt Forte is out with a knee injury, and it reported that it might be serious. He could miss multiple weeks with this. They're on bye week 11, so you may get him back coming in week 12, going into the playoffs. But we're not 100% confident on that because we don't know how serious this is. We have not gotten a full scope of the injury. On the Buccaneers side, Jameis Winston is out with his AC joint sprain. He's going to miss at least this week and next week. Could miss 3. Try to find alternatives because it's really tough to come back from this injury on your throwing shoulder. Most players generally don't play well through it going down the stretch. Onto the Buccaneers defense. As every week, they're going to be missing multiple pieces. They had at least 2 out, and they could be missing as many as 5. Mostly in the secondary and defensive end positions is where players were hurt. They're going to have their linebacking core intact, so that should help the running defense a little bit, but expect the pass rush to struggle. Josh McCown is a top 5 play for us this week. Bengals at Titans. Kicker Randy Bullock is questionable again with the same back injury he was inactive with last week, so don't start Randy Bullock this week. You're probably going to get a 0 from your kicker spot. On to Titans. Tight end Delaney Walker is questionable with his lingering calf injury. He played through it last week. I expect him to go again this week and be just fine for you. Saints at Bills. The Saints are close to fully healthy. They've even got Armstead back, so they're looking great. Bills, on the other hand, not so much. Zay Jones is out with his knee injury that he looks like he destroyed it twice in that Thursday night game last week. Probably needs another week or 2 to get fully healthy, so Zay Jones, we're putting it on ice for a while. Charles Clay is questionable with his lingering knee injury, but he is supposed to be back here in Week 10. I'd be real careful, though. Keep a real close eye on actives in case this flares up. Charles Clay struggled with knee injuries his whole career. It's possible he may not be able to go through this one. Have a backup plan and option. For example, the league that I have Charles Clay, I'm also rostering Julius Thomas as an emergency fill-in. Browns at Lions. The Browns are healthy coming into this game, so they should be all set and ready to go. Lions not so much. They're missing guard TJ Lang. Defensive end Ezekiel Ansah is doubtful with a back injury, so both trenches might be missing some pieces there. And wide receiver Kenny Galladay is still dealing with his hamstring injury that's bothering him since week 2. It's likely he misses this week. I think they're targeting a week 11 return for him. For the Texans at the Rams, Texans are coming into the game mostly healthy. Just a couple guys on the defensive side of the ball nicked up. For the Rams, they did have some bad news. Their backup running back, Malcolm Brown, who was a direct backup to Gurley in case anything happened to him, tore his MCL. He is most likely done for the rest of the year. Lance Dunbar will be the number 2 behind Gurley. So if you're looking to handcuff him, Lance Dunbar is the name you want to know. Cowboys at Falcons. Offensive tackle Tyron Smith will be missing for the Cowboys, drastically hurting that line. It is going to allow that pass rush to get after Dak a little bit more and may cap his upside a little bit. Wide receiver Des Bryant is questionable with knee ankle injuries, but he is expected to go. He got limited sessions in. It's Des. He's played through some pretty rough stuff. Unless he basically breaks something, he goes. And the Falcons are mostly healthy, so nothing really to report on them. For the Giants and 49ers, Giants have almost their entire linebacking roster and defensive end roster on the injury report. Many are likely to miss. They're going to be a really beat-up team. Boom to Carlos Hyde, and I do expect good things out of some players on the 49ers. The question is, I just don't know who. The one I'm targeting is kind of a YOLO start is Garrett Selleck, because the Giants are already terrible against tight ends, and now they have no linebackers, so that should help with the defending tight end problem. For the 49ers, the big name is George Kittle. Tight end is going to be missing with his knee injury, hence why I'm a fan of Selleck this week. He'll be getting all the work. Patriots at Broncos. Wide receiver Chris Hogan is out with his AC joint sprain. His arm is in a sling. I expect him to miss at least another week or two after this before he's back and healthy. Wide receiver Danny Amendola, as always, dealing with the knee injury, but he's expected to make a return this week and play through that. He should be the number 2 wide receiver target on this offense. Philip Dorsett will be the 3. For the Broncos, wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders is questionable with an ankle injury, but he should play this week just as he played last week. Temporary expectations, he didn't do much for you last week. It is Osweiler throwing the ball, but Sanders is talented, should be a low-end wide receiver 2 for you. Lastly, we got Dolphins at the Panthers to close us out. Running back Damian Williams is questionable with an illness, but all signs point to him playing Monday. He did get a full practice on Saturday, so he should be good to go for you. I would just try to have a backup option, whether it's Jonathan Stewart, Kenyon Drake, something else, in play in case Damian Williams is not able to go. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I am at Nick Sparts on Twitter. My co-hosts are Dan Thury. I don't know what his Twitter name is. He just changed it to something Tucson's related, so keep an eye out for that on the show page. We'll get you the actual name of that eventually. And then Christopher Hopper is at Hop with 2 P's, BFF. He's nice enough not to change that on me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow the show at BeerFueledFF. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys next time.